we check his little bookmark? This is a question on retained profit. This is a 4-mark question. Jasmina wants to know how well her enterprise has been performing. She has identified the following problem in her previous year's financial statements. The problem: retained profit has decreased. In 2016, she had £4,284, and in 2017, a year later, she had £1,378. The question for you: explain 2 actions Jasmina could take to improve the enterprise's retained profit figure. 4-mark question. Well, as you know, the rainbow buckets are the format we use for extended writing. However, we don't need advantages, disadvantages, high value connectors and conclusion. We don't need all of them, because the question is only 4 points, and it's actually just asked you for actions to improve Jasmina's retained profit figure. So this is where you would talk about the actions and you justify the actions or explain why they're good. So the one we don't need is the yellow disadvantage bucket. Toodaloo. So we'll now look at the contents on the green bucket. This time around for this question, though, it won't be disadvantages. We'll look at the green bucket in terms of positive actions, and here you can see there's suggested 3 that I'm putting in the bucket. We're looking at reviewing production and running costs. That's both sides of the balance sheet. We're looking at the impact on gross profit and net profit. We've got a straightforward comment on increasing net profit and then reducing the dividend, the dividend payout, which is to shareholders. Now here, these are just statements, so we've got to think now about expanding the sentence, which is why we use the rainbow bucket method. Well, this time I've done it the other way around. I'm looking at the conclusion, or rather the consequences of these actions. So I filled the grey conclusion bucket, which I'm now looking at the consequences, to actually show that when you're reviewing costs, then both sides of cost, and you're going to look at improving the gross profit margin and net profit margin. When you want to reduce the dividend, the shareholder payouts, then the dividends are actually calculated before you take retained profit, and the final answer is the higher net profit means ultimately you would have a higher retained profit. So I've given you the statements, I've actually now given you the consequences of those statements. Now comes the middle, the connectives, the high value connectives. Now I'm not suggesting that these are the ultimate ones to use, this is just a sample of them to use. So your job now is to actually glue the 2 bucket contents together to actually show that it becomes a fluid sentence, and you can link cohesively, and where it makes sense, link the sentences together. And here's a clean copy of the question again for you to focus and for you to write your response.